we should not be convinced with what maggots will tell us. Like Victoria Ngabire is a maggot, Padri Naiman is a maggot. When you look at Musabima Gaspar is a maggot. When you look at Turayishimye Jean Paul is a maggot. Hagara is a big maggot.
That is a very descriptive way. Innocent, if you describe them as whatsoever you
maggots.
call them, what makes you different from what they used to call the now RPA, the cockroaches? What would differentiate you from them then and you now? Thank you yet again for joining us on another episode of On the Spot on UKWELI Times. That's on UKWELI Media. You can find us, that's on X, that's former Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and now on YouTube, bringing you On the Spot, where we discuss issues that were of great importance in the nation, but also all over the globe, if not limited to the continent. And it's been politics ever since June, July, and now we are in August, yet to conclude and start yet the running of another 5-year term in Rwanda. We had the latest being the inauguration of the president, like mandated by the constitution. After being declared by the National Electoral Commission, then it is expected that the president or the president-elect shall take an oath. And after that, in 15 days, he is expected to appoint a prime minister who shall then guide the government business before the formation of the executive. And from that, we saw the other arm of government, which is legislature, being inaugurated too. It's a congratulations to Dr. Eduardo Ngirente as the prime minister. That is another conversation for another day, but we'll begin with the highlights of what transpired at the inauguration of the president, moving into the inauguration of the members of parliament and the swearing in of Dr. Eduardo Ngirente. 22 presidents from Africa, 4 vice presidents, and a couple of other dignitaries, including a king. Yes, it was a highlight like never before. Uniformed men, the best akarasisi that highlighted itself in the 45,000-seater stadium of Mahoro here in Kigali. Like always, how Mugisha Innocent, dressed to kill, clad in an amazing gray and white striped tie, ready to serve us some wisdom. Innocent, welcome to the show yet again.
Thank you, T. Bright. Thank you for inviting me to the show again to make analysis of the highlights of the inauguration ceremony there. You know, the inauguration was on the 11th of August 2024 for His Excellency the Republican President, the inaugural, the elect President, President Paul KAGAME, which was a colorful day, with colorful events. A lot of activities took place on that day. A lot of entertainments, a lot of innovations took place, which we shall be analyzing and discussing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Indeed, thank you. So, Innocent, we saw very many things happen. For the first time, after post-genocide Rwanda, more than 20 presidents from the continent meeting in one city to witness history of the first ever general election in Rwanda. What does this mean for Rwanda? What does this mean in terms of showing to the world that this country is a democratic nation?
Actually, it's not the first time that such presidents, head of states and senior government officials are gathering in Rwanda. We have seen people gathering, especially at the high level, in different times. Going back to the history, we have seen head of states gathering. I think it was the inauguration of Convention Center, sometimes in 2017, when we had the African Union Summit in Kigali, where we had almost all the head of states from different countries gathering in Kigali. So that was one of the first ever event to have all of them here. We also had Chogam, where we even had the current King of UK, Charles, also coming to Rwanda, and other senior delegates and other senior dignitaries. We also had the inauguration ceremony of the current Republican president, a 7 years ago in the same stadium where we had over 20 head of states. So this event, which took place on the 11th August, is not the first one in Rwanda to have big names, head of states gathering in Kigali. It's not the first time. So after having told you these events, different events, where these head of states have been coming to Rwanda, it's a sign, it's an indication that Rwanda is far much ahead compared to the other African countries when it comes to international corporations. When I say international corporations, it means how Rwanda is relating with other countries. You know, we have about 53 countries in Africa. Much as I'm concerned, about 51 of the countries were represented. We had about 17 head of states, vice presidents, prime ministers, the King Muswati from Swaziland. We also had other senior government officials, like ministers, representing their head of states. So that is a milestone to a country like Rwanda that is just rebuilding itself from where the bad governance had taken it previously. You know, we had the government of Habyarimana, which was planting division, hatred among Rwandans. So that brought about the breaking of the society, of the Rwandan society, of which the Rwanda was reborn after 1994 Liberation War, which also saw the putting an end to the genocide against the Tutsi by the RPA. So after the RPA liberated Rwanda, what did they do? That could be one of the questions that you can ask yourself. What they did was they started rebuilding the country. Not only rebuilding the country for Rwandans, promoting national unity, ending to the reasons that will create refugee crisis, Rwandans to be refugees, refugee crisis. Also, international corporations. Actually, when you go to RPF manifesto, you find where they say ubumwe bw'Abanyarwanda nibwo buzaduhuza, national unity is what is going to build us, ububanyi n'amahanga. They are talking about building international cooperation. Actually, when you even go to the song for RPF, the song for the party, all those pillars are there. So this is a significant and positive step that proves that what is in that song, what is in the manifesto, which was written in 1986, is being implemented. Today we are seeing RPF in government for 30 years. But when we say today we are seeing the RPF in government for 30 years, we are also seeing what they have built, what they have put on the table. The good example is the cooperation between Rwanda and other countries. If the president himself, at one point, he was a rebel leader. After liberating the country, these other people that looked at him as a rebel leader, they are now looking at him as a mentor, as a father, as a unifier. That is His Excellency KAGAME. So the participation of those head of states who were here and those who are not here who sent representative is a significant indication that the building and the promotion of international cooperation is on a high level because people can come.
Interesting. The highlight of the day was not only the men and women heading different countries, entering in luxury cars. That was amazing. I hope our producer gets to show you some of those amazing presidents and how they arrived. That will be part of this conversation. But the highlight is, based on where Rwanda has come from, in terms of divisionism, ethnicity along ethnic regions and religion and everything, having a magnitude of that number of men and women proud to be Rwandan now, dressed in the color flags in that stadium and agreeing to enchant a celebratory Rwanda. What does that mean for the government in these next 5 years?
Actually, there are two things. My take is that, my view is that the government has seen His Excellency is the current president, elected by the Rwandans, sworn in, people celebrated him. People celebrated his victory, no doubt about it. Then he has seen that he was Rwandans something, the trust they have invested into him, he has to also pay back by giving them development. So for the Rwandans, they know we love this person. They know this person has done a lot of things, like giving us modern hospitals, giving us modern roads, infrastructure in general, modern schools, and other good policies that are making the livelihood of people, Rwandan people, easy. So the Rwandan people now believe that this person we have trusted, we have given our trust, is going to continue deliver and give us more. So they're expecting a lot from him. That's why I'm saying he's also, I think he must know that we are expecting a lot from him, and he's also expected to deliver, not only basing on his campaign promises, but also basing on what Rwandans need. What Rwandans need, we already have security, which he has proved beyond doubtable doubts. That's why we can even supply to other countries. We already have national unity that we can see. We already have development, infrastructure development that we can see. So what Rwandans people now are expecting is to improve on that, to protect what has been achieved.
Yes.
To avoid to be convinced by what I can call maggots. These maggots from FDR, from oppositions, like Victoire Ingabire, those I can compare them to maggot. You know maggot?
Interesting word to use.
Yeah.
This conversation definitely is limited to Innocent and his views.
Those are my views, yes. Yeah, so we should not be convinced with what maggots will tell us. Like Victoire Ingabire is a maggot, Padri Naiman is a maggot. When you look at Musabyimana Gaspard is a maggot. When you look at Turayishimye Jean Paul is a maggot. Hagara is a big maggot.
That is a very descriptive way. Innocent, if you describe them as whatsoever you call them, what makes you different from what they used to call the now RPA, the cockroaches? What would differentiate you from them then and you now?
Okay, what would differentiate them from now is that those days we used to have a person like Kantano. You know Kantano?
I think I've heard of him.
Kantano was a journalist for RTM. It was a radio that was actually established to build on the propaganda, to bring a division among Rwandans, to spread hatred. That is the same radio that also had a big hand, played a big role in speaking the genocide against the Tutsi. So the difference is that what those people are saying on the RTM and Radio Rwanda of those days is different from what we are saying. They used to call them cockroaches. Okay. Cockroaches was a bad word because they didn't believe in the ideology they had. When they called them cockroaches, they didn't realize that they were fighting for their rights. They tried to come back peacefully. They told them, Rwanda is a small country. Rwanda, the president himself, Habyarimana, gave an example. Rwanda is like a glass of water, which is full. Once you put in a drop, the water will spill. So there was no ethical, there was no professionalism in such statements. Today, the current government, I'm not the spokesperson, I'm not Yoranda Makoro, I'm not Adem Kuralinda, those are the spokesperson of the government. But we know that today government accommodates wherever it turns, including myself. I was a refugee for 18 years. I came back, I went to school. Today, I'm a settled citizen and I'm working for government. I was not told that Rwanda is like a food, is like a grass that is full of water when you put a drop to speed. Not only me, thousands of people have returned from Democratic Republic of Congo, from Zambia, from Tanzania, from all over the countries. Why I'm giving you this example is because when you go back to analyze their statements of calling our brothers here today cockroaches, it means that they underrated them, they undermined them, ignoring the ideas, the good ideas that they had for Rwanda. We have seen Rwanda is a country where when you have like a disaster in one country or another, we can have Rwandan government intervening to repatriate their citizens. We have seen it happening in Libya. They send Rwanda here to go and repatriate them. We have seen it happening in Sudan to go and repatriate them. Today, we have Sudanese students who have come here to come and complete their education because in their country
there's
chaos. We have also seen, I think sometime back, we saw people from Haiti, students from Haiti were sponsored by the Rwandan government. So those are just small examples of which when we praise a government, we don't just praise it for propaganda. We praise it with a reason.
Interesting.
So when I call people maggots, I call them maggots because they cannot see the development.
Interesting, indeed, interesting a way to explain the reason, justification for why they shouldn't actually be looking at the way things are done. Innocent's views, I am yet to understand more. Innocent, as I come back to you, we saw the swearing in of a new, who is not new in terms to the, of course, the job, Prime Minister, who is yet to take the government or be at the forefront of taking government business at the forefront. He is a doctor by, not profession, by education. He holds 2 masters, postgraduate degrees. That's to say, he holds a PhD in agronomics from the University of Belgium, also known as UCL. Formerly an employee of the World Bank at different stages. He has taught before in the National University of Rwanda and came back to be the Prime Minister in 2017. Now he has been reappointed. Dr. Edward Njirene. He's 51 years old.
51 years, that means that he's still strong to run around the country, to run around the politics of Rwanda. So I think, in my view, His Excellency KAGAME, and to all the Rwandans, he made us proud because he made the right choice. Dr. Edward Njirene has proved, I think among all these former prime ministers, I think he must be the youngest when you go to the previous ones.
Yeah.
So, and then
I think he has lobbied more even, also,
yes,
if you compare to the statistics of what
again,
he has done.
When you also, when it comes what we hear about his income, where he was, so even accepting the appointment, the first appointment 7 years ago, is also a sign of patriotism. So I think the appointment is excellent.
Interesting. He talks about the former jobs. He was at the helm of the World Bank and his career was still growing. Now, that itself has been a point of mockery, which we're yet to discuss because the president talked about it. He's like, oftentimes people have laughed at him and said, why would he leave a point of peak in his career and come to just be a prime minister in a small nation with little of what he could earn at the World Bank? Are we seeing a man that is more patriotic and serving above self than a man that is in it for self-gain?
Definitely, that is what it means, because if he was at the aim of such a big institution, it means for him to come and accept the appointment of His Excellency, the Republican President, Paul KAGAME, it means that he's a patriot. that is patriotism. In Kinyarwanda, we easily call it gukunda igihugu, kwitangira igihugu, to sacrifice for your country. So he actually abandoned the salary, those other advantages given to him.
I mean, he was a consultant to the World Bank for 20 countries. Yes.
You know, a lot of advantages, a lot of privileges that he had to let go to come and be part and parcel of building his country. So for me, in my own view, I believe that is a big indication, that is a positive indication of saying someone is a patriot.
Interesting. As we are yet to take a short commercial break, we are yet to come back and also discuss a little bit of what transpired at the swearing ceremony of the members of parliament, or the August House that is yet to take the government onto the helm of the next 5 years. Remember, this general election was the first of its own kind, where we had a presidential and a parliamentary election at the same time. We have a new speaker of the House, different representatives, and as according to the Constitution of Rwanda, the president can never come from the same party as the Speaker of the House. What lies ahead of these new members of parliament? Because one of the tasks is to make sure they streamline the faith-based organizations, or call them churches. It's a conversation yet to continue, but for now, let's take a short commercial break. Welcome back yet again, and thank you for keeping it on the spot here on UKWELI Times. I hope you have subscribed, you have liked, and you're sharing this exact link to the other people that love peace, that love development, but above all are patriotic, not only patriotic to their nation, but also to the Pan-African movement. My name is Bright Bashir, and I'm still with Innocent Hawumwijisha, and we are discussing the state of politics in Rwanda. It's been a week of inauguration appointments, but the swearing in, it seems like it was crowning it all. Innocent, we saw the election of a new speaker, and then we saw the swearing in of the new parliament that is yet to take us in the next 5 years. What did you think about it? What do you expect from the parliament as a Rwandan citizen? And what should we expect?
Thank you so much, Bashir. By the way, when you said the name Bashir, I'm actually asking myself, are you related to the former president of Sudan?
Omar al-Bashir.
Omar al-Bashir?
If he had done the right things, would be related. I love men that do the right things.
Okay,
yes,
that's right, like KAGAME.
Yes, amazing.
Yes. So yesterday we saw the swearing in ceremony of new speaker, a surprise to Rwandans, a name that is not common.
Yeah, because he was just formerly a senator.
A senator.
Yeah.
It was actually a surprise to all of us, but we believe that the House of Members of Parliament had to vote democratically, which means that
she
the
got
choice
73 of the votes, yes,
against his vice, his closest rival. So, which means that we believe that the Rwandan people, the Rwandan parliament, the members of parliament, the current ones that we voted ourselves to represent us, had to make the right of choice for Rwandans. I think that is the right choice that they saw amongst themselves, because they chose one from themselves, which we cannot doubt about it, because you cannot challenge what they decide to choose.
Because we already trusted them anyway.
We trusted them already, so they also prove their trust. Yeah. That's one. Number two, what do Rwandans people expect from the House of Members of Parliament or the MPs? We expect them to represent the community, where they are coming from, where they are voted from, to go and present their problems in Parliament so that they can be addressed. To make sure that they solve the problem of water crisis across the country, the problem of shortage of roads, maintenance of existing roads, or should I say maintenance of existing infrastructure.
Yes, again, I want to thank you very much, of course, Innocent, for showing us indeed that the parliament is here to take on a helm of a kiln ahead of them, because they come at a time when Rwanda is on a take-off stage. That means a lot is needed in terms of a pledge that the government gave that by 2024 we should have 100% piped water coverage across the country. Like Innocent said, still that is a budget issue. We expect, of course, 100% of accountability that is to the Public Accounts Committee. Much more is yet to be seen. Is it going to be a consultative leadership best for this parliament, or is it going to be the status quo? My name is Bright Bashir. I was with Innocent to give you on the spot what issues transpired during the week. Keep hooked and make sure you subscribe, like, recommend a friend, and you can always comment down below.